Good evening, folks, saying a very, very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us on the OzCro Soccer Show podcast. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you here tonight. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and a very, very, very big warm welcome to the man in the harbour city, Mr. Ante Grabovac, always resplendent with that massive smile on your face. I love it. I live for Tuesdays, Ante. How are you?
I'm excellent, thanks, Taunchy, but I don't know about warm welcome. It's getting colder up here, let me tell you.
Yeah, have I got a story about good old cold Melbourne today? I'll tell you what, but that's for another time, I suppose. But yeah, you're right, absolutely right. The weather outside is getting colder, both north and south of the border. But the action is certainly hotting up, and there's a lot happening, and we're always here to bring you all the latest. Now, speaking about bringing all the latest, mate, tonight we've got some Australia Cup action happening around the country.
Yeah, we do, actually. In the progress score, O'Connor Knights are currently 6-0 up against Queanbeyan, so that's fantastic. So they'll surely be through to the next round. That's in the 70th minute, so that is fantastic stuff by O'Connor Knights. So, keep on kicking on. As of tonight, we've still got 10 clubs alive in the Australia Cup, and we will be doing a live cross later to Strathnaver Reseve, where Strathmore Split are in action tonight as well. So really, really exciting stuff. But before we go on, just like to say a big thank you to Julian Lopatz and the crew at South Coast for giving me this fantastic jersey. I'm loving it. What do you reckon?
Oh, wow.
Looks
How cool is that? Hey, what's the sponsor? Get up a bit so we can actually see that. Sponsor Marcos. No, Darko's Kitchens. Kitchens. Big shout out to Darko's Kitchens. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
I love it. And that was actually delivered at an Australian Cup match last week. So we'll talk a bit more about that a little bit later on. But yeah, Australia Cup action, we love it.
Yeah, we'll be talking to Ante Stipik, one of the hard-working committee members at FC Strathmore Split. They've got a tough game against Lane Warren, who are in Division the second tier competition, VPL 1, so two divisions above Strathmore. But nonetheless, it's cup sets. That's what they're all about. But he'll be telling us a lot about their new, not their new home ground. Strathnaver Reseve is their home ground, but on the weekend they returned there for the first time this season because they had finally the local council pulled a finger out and installed a whole new surface, new turf, and that was long overdue. But we'll find out all about what is going on there at Strathnaver Reseve, and hopefully we'll also have a good halftime progress score to boot. Now, mate, what else have we got coming up on the show tonight?
Yes, we'll also be crossing live to Newcastle, where we've got the Newcastle Croatia coach, JOSHUA Popescu, on hand. Newcastle coming first in their league. They're still alive in the Australia Cup, so lots of good news coming out of Newcastle. And Taunchy, you've got a bit of a special video that you'll be playing as well.
Yeah, well, look, folks, have you ever wondered what a video analyst does at a professional club? Well, we're going to have a little bit of a video, a little bit of a feature on Dinamo Zagreb's video analyst. And it's all in English, and it is an absolutely fantastic little video clip. It only goes for about 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and it really has a good insight into what a video analyst does. But also, to boot, a Zagreb-based company has come up with this, Once Sport is the name of the organisation. They've come up with this software, basically a video analysis software that clubs can use. And look, there's a 7-day free trial offer for anyone. So our Australian Croatian clubs who are keen to, or who do actually have a video analyst, or these days you can get kids in university doing internships and it doesn't cost you anything, or you can even get some crazy football loving nut who just lives, breathes, and eats and sleeps soccer, who's willing to do things like be a video analyst for your club. Well, now we've got a real Croatian connection to some new age technology as well that could help you. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a fantastic one a bit later on this hour. Plus, we've got all the news that's happening both home and abroad. And Ante, an Australian Croatian made his senior professional debut on the weekend. Yes, we talk about Noah Skorko, the son of Josip, and former North Geelong Warriors player. We've got a little bit of a clip there from a post-match interview that was held with Noah after their win over a club that has got a very strong Australian Croatian connection. NK Rudeš, President Josip Šimunić, who's been on this show. They've also got Tom Mrčela and Fran Karacic in their ranks as well, two Australian Croatian footballers there. Unfortunately, they're on the bottom of the HNL standings.
It won't be, they're way at the bottom, so they'll definitely be relegated.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to take a very, very short break, but cheerio to all the folks that are already crazy active in the comments section. We love it. We've had some great banter and some great conversation over the last couple of weeks. Let's continue that, and let's see if we can get the three wise monkeys from the three various states, Chavar, Škornjak, and Grgić, jumping on board tonight. And
has already started, and yes,
already started. Always has to be one. On that note, folks, we're going to take a very short break. A couple of words from our major sponsor, Gem Life and Living Gems. A big shout out to Adrian Pulic, whose birthday it was the other day. So happy birthday to the Gold Coast Knights president and also our major sponsor. So we'll be back with the news desk right after this break.
Who's to say who's young, who's old? Compared to who? Age is complicated. You see, most people really stop getting older at age 26, but their bodies just don't get the memo. So, hidden inside most over 50-ish-year-olds is the soul and spirit of a 26-year-old, with the same loves and desires and hopes and dreams, just in slightly different packaging. Why waste time wondering when you could be enjoying? It's your life, and life is what you make it. So, what are you waiting for?
Ante, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Taunchy. We start with the weekend's league winners. Of course, we had a few Australia Cup action. We'll be talking about that later. So these are the league winners of the past weekend. In first place, we have the Gold Coast Croatia team, and they had a big 3-2 win over Moreton City. Also in first place is Brisbane. They're doing well, and they had a 5-0 win, their second 5-0 win in a row, actually. In Newcastle, we'll be talking to the coach very shortly, and they're in first place with a huge 4-2 win over Southern United. Sydney United, 3 wins in a row. Incredible stuff on a Friday night, only 48 hours after their Australia Cup victory as well. So it was a huge couple of days for Sydney United, and they had a 2-0 win over Sydney FC. 2 very good goals in that particular fixture by Nakamura and Aidan Milicevic. And in Dandenong, Dandy, first win in 4 matches. Well done with a 3-2 victory over Manningham. Hersel Zagreb can't stop winning. 4 wins in a row. They defeated the old Parramatta Melita 3-1. North Geelong, first win of the season.
Yay!
After you mentioned it was the first point of the season last week, Taunchy, they got their first win, 2-1 over Kingston City, and they've got another good opportunity to get another win this week, which we'll go through once we go through who's playing who this week. And O'Connor Knights, who are leading at the moment 6-0 in the Australia Cup, 3 wins in a row, undefeated. They're going strong, and a 3-0 win over Ugali. So, 8 teams there. Very well done. Going over to this weekend, what's happening? We've got the home fixtures this weekend. Brisbane Knights are at home on Friday night. Also home on Friday night Hersel Zagreb. That should have been NPL2. Yes, I know. Pick me up on that one. Newcastle Croatia are playing at home on Saturday afternoon, as are Guelph Croatia. Also on Saturday afternoon Western Knights. Of course, Guelph have got the big fixture against arch rivals Dianella, who are actually coming first, the White Eagles there. So let's hope Guelph can get them. Sydney United on a beautiful Sunday afternoon at Sydney United Sports Centre. If you're in Sydney, there's nowhere else to be. They're playing the first place Western Sydney Wanderers, who themselves have quite a few young guns, Croatian young guns, in their lineup. And if you're in ACT, the big Croatian derby, you can't beat a Croatian derby. I'm sure there'll be lots of Hockey and all sorts of things going there. Lots of Karlovačko, Ožujsko, everything. Osječko, the rest of them as well. Canberra, Croatia at home to O'Connor Knights. It's 5th versus 2nd. Sunday, 5th of May, 3 p.m. at Deakin Stadium. If you're in Canberra, get on down to that one. With the away fixtures, we've got Adelaide Croatia Raiders, 4th versus 5th. So that's a big fixture on Friday night. Melbourne Knights are away to Dandy, and that's on Friday night as well. On Saturday, St. Albans Dinamo are away to Green Gully. So that's a good opportunity, 10th versus 13th there. Hopefully St. Albans can start winning again.
Just to note that it's a weird kickoff time, 1 p.m. I'm not too sure why that's the case, but 1 p.m. kickoff, it's very strange. It can't be certainly due to TV requirements, but just making sure that normally it's a 3 p.m. kickoff on an afternoon, but that one is at 1 p.m. and it definitely is not a misprint.
I think it's so all the St. Albans fans who are also Dandy fans can go and watch Dandy on the same afternoon, right? Because they're away to Port Melbourne.
Maybe.
And then also on Saturday at 5:30, maybe it's to get to Caroline Springs, because at 5:30 North Geelong are taking on the old George Cross. And let's hope they get another victory, 2 in a row there, North Geelong. Good opportunity to do so. And in Tassie, Glenorchy Knights, who are coming first, are away to the Zebras. So let's hope that they can get the win there and stay in first spot as well, Taunchy.
Yeah. Okay, now we turn our attention to, the Australia Cup. Some people think of it as a nuisance, as a pain in the backside. Others, see it as a real opportunity to get on the national stage. How are we faring at the moment, mate?
Absolutely brilliantly at the moment. As you can see, there were 5 fixtures over the past week. On the weekend, the Western Knights defeated Floreat Athena by 4-2. Guelph needed extra time to defeat Joondalup. Glenorchy was 7-0 winners over Southeast United, so that's fantastic. All of those happened on Saturday afternoon. And then last Wednesday night, we had Newcastle Croatia with a huge 7-0 win over Hamilton Azuri. And Sydney United, it was 1-1 against the local team at the 80th minute. I was pulling my hair out, but in the end, last 10 minutes, they scored 3 goals. Patrick can tell me with a double there, and 4-1 victory over Eskill Park. So, thankfully they got the job done in the end, and they survived to live another day in the next round of the Australia Cup. And there's a few fixtures, as we mentioned tonight. At the moment, it's still 6-0 with the O'Connor Knights. And then later on, we will be crossing over to see how Strathmore Split will be going. Taunchy, next slide, please. And then also got a couple of these particular matches tomorrow night. We've got St. Albans Dinamo at home to East Bentley Strikers. So let's hope, as many people as possible can come on down and support St. Albans. Canberra, Croatia are also in action tomorrow night against Monaro Panthers, who, of course, Sydney United played, I think it was 2 seasons ago in the Australia Cup. And they used to be in the NSL as well, the old Inter Monaro.
That's the ones. I knew they sounded familiar.
Absolutely. And now they're the Panthers. And on the weekend, the Gold Coast Knights will be in action against Sunshine Coast. Of course, we get to know their dates and opponents are Newcastle, Sydney United, Glenorchy, Western Knights, and Guelph, because they just won during the week. So exciting stuff. 10 clubs still alive, and let's hope that continues.
Now, Matt Jurcevic has just sent us through some information about Western Australia. So this is hot off the press. There you go. Thank you, Matt Jurcevic. And there you go. Guelph, Croatia at home to Perth Red Star.
Red Star, but they're not associated.
They're not the Red Star we're thinking of. Red Star, no.
They just like the name. Like, these people apparently just took it on because they like the name. They've got no connotations with anything to do.
What drugs? Drugs?
Unbelievable. Yeah, we looked into that. Me and Chava looked into that for a very long time, let me tell you.
Seriously? Is that the direction this country is headed? I'll tell you what. But, Guelph, come on, do it for the Australian Croatian community. Let's defeat this Red Star mob, huh?
And Western Knights away to Bayswater there as well. So that'll be another big fixture for the Western Knights. And it's great to see, I know it's extra football for the players, and, sometimes the league can suffer because some of these squads are not huge, but, the further you go in the Australia Cup, the more visibility you get, the more national attention you get. And it's really
Now, Ante, we tried our hardest. We almost had them over the line. We almost had some guests from the Western Knights come on tonight's show, but unfortunately they were too busy and they weren't able to come on the show. But they have promised us that they will be on the show next week. So fingers crossed, we can get some either the coach Adam or the assistant coaches or the captain or whatever the case may be. But our Western Knights have started it ridiculously well. When I say ridiculously well, they're still on top of the competition standings after, 5 games, I think it is. So newly promoted, just like the Adelaide Raiders Croatia, newly promoted to their NPL division, and they're doing really well. So, the bait has been set that if they remain on top, we'll get them on the show next week. So bit of extra incentive there for the Western Knights boys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mate, let's turn our attention now to what is happening overseas in Croatia. Well, it all comes down to this weekend coming. It is going to be make or break, I tell you what. Very, very, very important weekend coming up. But let's talk about what happened last weekend, first of all. Lokomotiva in Zagreb.
How did that happen?
I do not know, but yep, this is, an amazing result. Lokomotiva have really proved to be a thorn in everyone's side. They've beaten Dinamo a few times. They've taken points off Hajduk. Now they've taken points off Rijeka when it really, really mattered. 3-1 win over Rijeka at the Kranjčević Stadium. Gorica 0, Osijek 3. Hajduk 5-1 winners over Rudeš.
Finally winners.
Rokas Pukstas, the Hajduk Dynamo kid from America, scored a hat-trick. But only 2 of those goals were for Hajduk and 1 was for Rudeš. And it was an own goal. The hand of Pukstas, they're calling it, because it came off Pukstas' hand and past the young Hajduk keeper, Borna Buljan, and into the net. We'll talk about this in a second, more about this game, but we'll move on. Dinamo just beat Varaždin 1-0. Now, if you follow much of the Croatian league, Sandro Kulenovic was instrumental in this game, scoring another goal. He was basically discarded a couple of times. He went to Lokomotiva a few times. I think he went to Gorica as well, but to Lokomotiva about 2 or 3 possibly times on loan. And now he's back at Dinamo, and he's just such an integral part of their attack. And Istra defeated Slaven Belupo 3-0. So if we look at next week's games, Rudeš at home to Istra, Slaven Belupo taking on Gorica, Hajduk Split at home. After 2 games behind closed doors, they are able to get fans coming to their games. So hopefully that will be a decent crowd. It won't be a packed house, but they're taking on Varaždin in Split. Osijek at home to Lokomotiva. But the big one, Monday morning, folks, if you're in the eastern suburbs, 3:30 a.m. If you're in Perth, I guess that's 1:30 a.m. Rijeka taking on Dinamo. What a game that is going to be. But
huge.
On a side note, an Australian Croatian, as we mentioned at the top of the show, Noah Skorkov, formerly from North Geelong Warriors and the son of Josip. He made his debut, came on in the 72nd minute of the game against Rudeš. And, can you imagine? You come onto the field, you've got internationals, either past or current, like Ivan Perisic, Nikola Kalinic, Filip Brekalov. Then you've got Macedonian international Aleksandar Trajkovski. You got these players. Emir Sahiti, I think, was the Kosovo youth representative. So you've got all these amazing players all around you, and you're now they're your teammates. That's quite an incredible story. But here's a little video clip. It goes for about a minute and a half of Noah speaking very good Croatian, by the way, very fluent Croatian, on Hajduk TV. It is in Croatian. We'll translate it very loosely afterwards.
Ja mislim da je bila jedna odlična utakmica za nas. Bili smo jako dominantni, moglo je biti i možda čak i 10-1. Stvorili smo puno šansa i jedna jako pozitivna utakmica.
Još jedan si u nizu Hajdukovih dragulja iz akademije koji su debitirali, kakav je osjećaj, iako je prazan poljud, ali svejedno.
Osjećaj je stvarno super i velika je čast naravno debitirao za Hajduk. Normalno nije taj isti osjećaj bez publike, ali ponosan moment za mene.
Sljedeća utakmica je Varaždin, tad će biti publike. Šta očekujemo?
Očekujemo jednu borbenu utakmicu, ja mislim da smo svi spremni, sve je pozitivno i jedva čekamo.
He sounds like a Christian already, let me tell you.
No, he does, doesn't he? He's got the accent and everything. But if you don't understand Croatian, in a nutshell, his first comment was, it was a very good game by us. We dominated. It could have been 10-1. We created a lot of chances. It was one very positive game by all of us. The second point, he said, the feeling was super to debut for Hajduk. Naturally, it's not the same when you don't play in front of your own fans, but it was a privilege nonetheless. And then finally, looking towards the game this weekend against Varaždin this week, we are expecting a tough contest, but I think we are all ready for it, and all is positive in our camp. We cannot wait. So
Big raps around Noah. So
they do. They have really, really big raps for him. He's kind of ever since he's left Australia, gone to Croatia. His career just seems to be heading in an upward direction. So and look. Anthony Kulik obviously is still there at Hajduk. Now, there was an interesting post during the week where some Hajduk fans were suggesting, I think the big problem at Hajduk at the moment is, I think, the left fullback or the right fullback. I can't remember what exactly the post was referring to, but it was suggesting that Fran Karacic is a free player at the end of this season, and obviously Rude's likely to go down. And they're saying he could be the player that could cover that hole. Well, we could potentially have 3 Australian Croatians at Hajduk next year. Who knows? Wouldn't that be good?
Awesome.
Return to the old days when you had Horvat, Šerić, and Grdić, I think it was. Is that right? Young Grdić from memory. Anyway, Ante, let's move along to the Prva Liga, or the second-tier competition. This is definitely becoming a 2-horse race, this one. The battle between Šibenik and Zrinski Osječko up at the top of the competition standings. The way things are travelling at the moment with, we've got about another 5 more rounds to go. There's 33 rounds in this competition. And it all climaxes in the final round when both these two teams meet. They will meet in Osijek. So, wow, that is going to be
Šibenik.
Yeah, Šibenik. Yeah, I'm with you on Šibenik. Although it would be great to see the Gradski Vrt, which is where Zrinsko Osječko play, and having an Osijek derby. Although they don't really get much of a crowd, so I don't know what sort of a derby it would be. Anyway, on to the second or the Liga 2, Druga Liga, whatever you want to call it, League 2. Opatija has opened up a sizable gap there, 4 points at the top of the competition standings after 25 rounds. This competition has got 30 rounds, so on the weekend just gone by, there you can see some of the results. Opatija 1-0 over Grobničan. It was a tight one, but they managed to do it very, very well. Radni Križevci, big 4-1 win over Trnje. And Karlovac got back into the game with a 1-0 win over Kustošija to move into third spot. You know, they could still do it, Karlovac, but chances are highly unlikely.
The Dragovoljac were in the top division 2 seasons ago, and they're sitting in the 3rd division now. That's unbelievable.
But there's some really good clubs down there, some really ambitious clubs, some clubs with some great infrastructure, a lot of capital. Look at Kustošija. I mean, they've sold a couple of players to Barcelona for 5 million euros and what you're not. So they've got a fair bit of money, that's for sure. But look, there's at the moment the big problem is the gulf between the HNL, the Premier League, and the Prva Liga, the First Division. And you know, there's talk that you know a lot more resources needs to be ploughed into the Croatian game at that lower level to get those clubs up to a level so that when they do get promoted to the Premier League, it's not that yo-yo kind of up one year, down the next year, like what's happened with Rudeš this year. Let's move over to the border to the BiH Premier Liga. Zrinski are still 5 points behind the leaders Borac, Banja Luka, with about 4 rounds to go. Good win on the weekend by Zrinski defeating Posušje, 1-0. Široki Brijeg couldn't do it against Borac, 1-2 at home they lost. And Gošk Gabela lost also to Željezničar 1-2. This weekend coming, Posušje travel to Mostar to take on Velej. Zrinski are at home to Široki Brijeg in another Croatian derby. And then Gošk Gabela travels to the leaders in Banja Luka, and hopefully Gošk can take a point or maybe all 3 points off Borac. Wouldn't that be good? And do their fellow Croatian club a favour there. That would be great to see. Hey,
incredible. Yes, all the Gošk fans are actually online tonight. So go.
They are indeed.
Oh,
yeah. We would love to know who people follow, like in overseas, whether it's in Croatia or whether it's in Bosnia Herzegovina. We'd love to know. We'd tell us who do you support. We'd love to, as I said, love to find out more about your likes, your interests, and where you're from or where your ancestry is from. On that note, Ante, we're going to take a bit of a short break, and we'll return with a video analyst and what a video analyst does at a crack Croatian club.
OzCro Imports brings you the finest taste of Croatian beer, spirits and wine. Let your taste buds feel the years of nurtured produce and years of experience in producing some of the best beer and wines from Croatia. Established over 10 years ago and importing various wines, spirits and beers from Croatia, we stock the following products: Osječko pivo, Staro Češko and Velebitsko beers, all naturally crafted brews. We carry a wide range of shortcut spirits, which is renowned for top quality and has won numerous awards for its traditionally produced spirits. Some of these include Šljiva, Viljamovka, Kajsije, Višnja, Orahovac and Medovača. We also have wines ranging from the Ilok region in Slavonia, Belje wines from the Danube region, Malvazija from Istra, and the Palihnic branded Plavac Mali and Poship wines from the Dalmatian coast. Our mission is simple: to ensure that quality, unique and reasonably priced Croatian goods can be enjoyed right here in Australia. We also cater for special gift packs for customers, be they birthdays, christenings, weddings, etc. It's easy to order online, or you can telephone us to arrange a special package. Visit our website at www.ozcro.com.au, like our Facebook page OzCro Imports, or you can contact us by calling 0419 44 55 18 or email sales@ozcro.com.au.
Well, welcome back to the OzCro Soccer Show. Now, we've got some great comments happening in the comments section. Steve Škornjak says, born in Osijek as a mad Dinamo Zagreb supporter. Of course. Luka Zrinski. Tony Chavar, Metkovic, Mumbo, Jumbo. It's such a team, you tweet. Very good. Steve Škornjak says an interesting thing. Dragovoljac, yes, 13th in Division 3, and what a fall from grace. Not that long ago, they were in the HNL, and it reminds me of a great story. This is one year when I was over in Croatia, and a journalist colleague of mine, and a fellow you'd probably know, Ante, Andrija Kačić-Karlin, who used to write for the Vjesnik, the Zagrebački Vjesnik, but also for the Croatian Herald in Melbourne. He was the Croatian correspondent, and he took me to a Hrvatski Dragovoljac game back when pokojni Stjepan Spajić was the legendary president of the club. And I tell you what, there were several hundred people there that day. I reckon more people came to watch Spajić in action. He was just hilarious, absolutely. He was a show unto himself. What was happening on the field was probably second of second importance. But there's on YouTube. There's a very good interview. I think it's called the Podcast Incubator series, if I'm not mistaken, and with a fella called Igor Musa, who also played for Hajduk, but he played for Dragovoljac during Hrvatski Dragovoljac's golden era when they played in the Intertoto Cup. Remember those days?
Yeah, love the Intertoto Cup.
The Toto Cup, yeah.
That was a qualifier for the UEFA Cup.
Yes, exactly right. And it was a great insight into what it was like with Stjepan Spajic being the president of the club. Shares some very, very memorable moments. But there you go. Mate, we're gonna put the video clip on hold, the video analyst video clip on hold. But rather, we've got our special guest on the line from the Hunter Valley. Tell us all about him, Ante.
Yeah, George Papadopoulos is saying, where is the number one coach in Newcastle? And so, George, listen, without any further ado, we've got you the number one coach in Newcastle online. Here he is, Mr. Joshua Popescu. Welcome to the OzCro Soccer Show this evening.
What about you guys? How are we?
Oh, very well, mate. When you come on the show, we know we're going to have we know that the viewership is going to skyrocket. Look, speaking of skyrocketing, like, you guys have been doing an amazing job since the start of the season, and tell us more about how 2024 is unfolding for Newcastle Croatia.
Yeah, really good. So during the off season, we made some really big signings. So we've got some good signings from NPL level. I think we're in the round 6 now of Australia Cup, which is the furthest we've been so far. So yeah, we're doing well. So it's good. It's good culture between the boys now. Everyone's sort of gelling well together. So yeah, hopefully we just keep it going and get that promotion at the end of the year.
And did you strengthen up any particular positions there, Joshua? Or
so we only lost 2 players from our starting first grade team last year, but we gained 3 more. So we've got a really good defender. He's a Croatian boy, Adam Lineric. He come from Valentine Phoenix, which is in the first division in Newcastle. Michael Sessions, another defender. And yeah, we've sort of bolstered our midfield as well with Cody Carroll, an ex-Jets youth player, and Jamie Burns, another striker at NPL level. So no, we've done pretty good. Just added some depth into our team, which is important, which last year we sort of struggled on a little bit. So, yeah, no, everything's looking good so far.
Yeah, Josh, we've had you on the show before, so it's great to have you on the show again. But for those that probably aren't familiar with the pyramid, the footballing pyramid up in Newcastle, how does it go? You're currently in what zone? Zone
2.
Yep.
So we're 4th division.
Yep. So there you got zone 1, and then it moves into, is it the NPL after that?
So zone 1, then it moves into, I think it's Northern League 1 or Northern League 2, and then Northern League 1.
And then NPL.
Yeah, it's a little bit different this year, the way they've structured it with Northern New South Wales. So yeah, I'm not quite sure the top leagues, but yeah.
Okay, right, excellent. Yep. So we just saw the ladder there, so we'll just quickly pop the ladder back on. The record so far in opening day was 5-1 versus Mayfield, great win there. Yep. Then the second win was against North United Wolves in round 2, 3-2. Bit of a hiccup against Cooks Hills UFC in round 3, 3-1 loss. The game against Bulwara Lawn was postponed, and then a 4-2 win against Southern United on the weekend. There was meant to be a game tonight, and that was that the catch-up game against Bulwara, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, unfortunately due to rain, game got washed out this afternoon. So we'll look to replay that the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah.
And of course, you won the league last year, right? And so
we won the grand final. We didn't actually win the league.
You won the grand final. So are you staying in the same division as last year, or
we have stayed in the same division as last year.
Okay.
So looking to go 3-peat this year. So hopefully win another grand final plus a minor premiership.
And so how many teams get promoted? Top 2, is it?
No, just one.
Just one, righto.
Yeah.
And no promotion playoff, no nothing like that, no?
Not in our division. In Northern League 1 and 2 there is, but in Zone League 1 and 2 there's no promotion.
Gosh, it's a tough league to get out there. So you definitely don't want to drop
pressure's on the coach. It's on the chopping board.
We'd like to be in your shoes, when you've got some crazies like Luka Pilipovic and Karl Zivkovic up there, mate, they'll be chasing you with Siaki there.
Yeah,
he's not the only one. If you don't bring home promotion.
I think my mum's the third one, so you got to watch out for her too, huh?
Yeah, plus you got to mention where you're from, because last time you couldn't, right, Josh?
Yep. So, Mum, I know you're watching. So, Mum's from Imotski in Croatia, And
Don't
my
mess
dad's
with
Romanian.
Imochani. Don't mess with Imochani.
Yeah, she was pretty upset last time that I didn't know where she was from, but nah. So this time I've got it for you, Mum.
It was just being live on air and all that sort of pressure. We forgive you. That's all right. You've done the good.
On behalf of Ante and myself, Mrs. Popescu, thank you for not killing your son and allowing him to come on the show this year. Yeah, otherwise, look, you don't miss with the Imochani, that's for sure.
Nah, she's a good one.
Yeah. Now, this week, who are you playing this week and where?
So we got Crowders Bay United, which is so it was Hamilton Azuri last year, but they've changed and reformed their own club, which is Crowders Bay. So it's a grand final rematch this Saturday.
Oh, wow.
At our home at Pasadena Oval at Beresfield.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Tell us a bit about
where they are. Where are they? They're struggling, are they? Or they've only played 2 games? That's why.
I don't think their table's been. Does it say they've only played 1 game or 2?
Two. One win, one draw, and 1 loss.
Yeah, I'm not. To be honest, mate, I only see when Newcastle Croatia come. That's all that matters to me. I don't focus on anyone else at the moment.
Tell us a bit about the Australia Cup match last week. The scenes at the end seemed like absolutely phenomenal. Tell us a bit about the game and the scenes at the end.
So, coming into that game was pretty wild. So we have a bit of a rivalry with Hamilton Azuri ever since Croatia sort of started in 2021. 2022 being competition, we have a bit of a rivalry with these guys. So coming into this game was very big. The supporters were going crazy. The boys are just up for it. And to come away with a 7-0 victory over a team that's in a division above us is a pretty outstanding achievement, I think. So the boys done it in real Croatian style, mate. They really give it to them. And then we gave it to them at the end as well in the team song. So they copped it from all angles, they did.
Yeah, the scenes were fantastic. And if you haven't seen the video, you can catch it on our Facebook feed. Brilliant scenes and fantastic singing from fans, and the players are really, really thrilled to win that particular fixture 7-0. So tell, how, once obviously you start going through, with such a good victory, then obviously you're going to start getting the tougher teams. Do your tactics change with the tougher teams, or
nah?
How do you handle it, Josh?
So we've got our next draw, which is against Qatar. So they're all in a league above us. So we're pretty lucky. So since we've started Australia Cup this year, we've beaten teams that are in our league, even 2 leagues above us. So yeah, there's no reason why we can't give the big boys a crack either. So no, I'm not changing nothing, mate. Just go out there and play our style of football. So our style of football seems to work, and we'll stick to that.
That is. Are you training twice a week at the moment, or
no? We only train once.
Really?
So just being in a lower division, you get these ex-MPL players who don't want to train 3 nights a week. So some of them are getting a bit old. I see you boys are watching. So we just make it compulsory 1 night a week for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is, I think it's enough anyway. So
perfect. And it's working. Absolutely working.
It's definitely working so far. Fingers crossed, eh?
Why change a winning formula, I suppose? Isn't that what they say? Yeah.
That's correct, mate.
Now, mate, it has been a quite an astronomical rise since the club was reformed in 2021. And obviously, look, you're becoming a bit of a destination club for players from other clubs and even, I guess, outside the region. What do you envisage happening over the next couple of years with Newcastle Croatia? Because when you go through those growing pains, you start getting a lot of promotion. Obviously, you have to start looking at sustainability and things like that as well, or extra finances and all that kind of stuff. How's the club kind of looking at that? Are you just happy to stay where you are, or do you want to kind of get to the NPL, Northern New South Wales NPL, as quickly as possible type of thing?
Well, I think at the moment we just take 1 step at a time. So our main goal is this year to get promoted and go into Zone League 1. Mm-hmm. And then
train
twice a week?
And then, nah, mate, still train once.
Still train once a week.
We'll still train once a week. Like the club's ambitions to go higher, obviously it will be there in the next couple of years, but it is a lot on the club financially. So I'm not sure if we're there yet 100%, but we'll take 1 step at a time, mate. So Zone League 1, I think we deserve to be there right now, but win the minor premiership this year, and I'll be a very happy coach if that happens.
Yeah.
And were you involved in the whole bringing the club back? Because it was gone. It was dead and buried for 15 years, wasn't it? Or did you get the Mayday call from Carl and you sort of answered the Mayday call? Or how did that all come about for you getting involved?
Well, you guys will see a video in a couple of weeks, actually. Me and Luka Polipovic are going to run a little story of how Croatia got back and set back up. And
wonderful.
Yeah, so I was involved from the start. I wasn't actually going to coach from the start. I was sort of just going to bring players along. Just with my NPL experience and just my friends being in the NPL grade, I was just going to bring them along, play for Croatia. And then I sort of thought to myself, you know what, may as well give coaching a go. And yeah, so they weren't going to actually give me the coaching role because I was a bit young, only 33. So, but yeah, since they've given it to me, so I've back-to-back premierships and yeah, so we go this year.
And which clubs did you play for with your involvement?
So I've played for Broadmeadow Magic, Adamstown Rosebuds and Valentine Phoenix.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Mate, I tell you what, Josh, there's a few Croatian clubs down south in Victoria looking for coaches at the moment. You might get a what's the word, tap on the shoulder, and Dinamo and Melbourne Knights and who else is looking for
You just have to tell them they have to wait a little bit. I'm going to Croatia first.
Now, look, you may have caused a bit of a stir there because Karl Živković is saying back to where we belong, NPL. Now, is that meaning Karl is going to be impatient? He wants success as soon as possible. And, when you're saying, we're happy to be where we are for the time being, maybe Zone 1 could cause a little bit of fiery conflict.
No, like I said, we'll just take one step at a time. It's not good to look too far in the future.
And when I was there last year for the City United match, obviously we had the clubhouse there, and then Pasadena's quite a fair way away, right, over the other side of Newcastle. So we're trying to bring that a bit closer, and in the long term, sort of.
That'd be ideal. That'd be great. Pasadena is about 30 minutes away from where 30 minutes away from where the Croatian club is.
Yep.
But just due to ground facilities at the moment in Newcastle, it's absolutely shocking. So
is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you just got to take what you get given for now. So Pasadena's our fortress, and then we'll just make do with what we got.
Are there any artificial grounds available? Because obviously
there's one.
There's only one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like Sydney and Melbourne and places like that, where you guys have them left, right, and centre, we have one that's got 2 pitches on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so
that's surprising. That really is
disappointing because obviously football is a big growing sport in Australia. So Newcastle's got a lot of talent stuff. A lot of kids as well that are coming through the ranks. So it'd be good to see that. Times like this now, where it's wet weather, you got nowhere to go. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
And there were rumours today that potentially the Jets have found a new owner. I mean, is it important for the? I mean, I think it'd be great for Central Coast has done really well. It'd be great to have a team in Newcastle at A-League level, right?
Oh, for sure. It'd be great. Like my son obviously loves going to watch the Newcastle Jets play, so it'd be good to see them still stay in the league and do get a new owner, and hopefully they rebuild. And because they were successful for years and years and sort of just dropped off. But you definitely need a Newcastle team in the A-League, I believe.
Yeah. Have they spoken about who the new owner is?
Mate, to be honest, I'm not too sure about that.
Guys, about a year ago, there was very, very strong rumours there was a Melbourne Croatian businessman involved in a consortium to take over the Jets, and that fell through, and then apparently they were involved in something in another A-League club, and then that fell through as well.
In Perth, yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's something back on the table. Who knows?
Yeah,
it'd be a shame to lose that particular. I mean, obviously you've got a strong league, and then it'd be great to have that pinnacle for players to aspire to as well.
Yeah, for sure, definitely, I agree.
All right, Josh. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the OzCro Soccer Show, and thank you for doing it last minute. We had a few other guests, unfortunately, pull the pin last minute today, but you come in, and you know what? They say one man's misfortune is another one's fortune. I guess we were able to get you on the show because your game was washed out tonight.
Yeah.
So, good on that Newcastle game.
My absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you, and on behalf of me and the club, I just want to say thank you guys for supporting us for the past couple of years. We do really appreciate it, and hopefully we can make all you Croatians proud in Australia in the Australia Cup.
Yeah, we love following your fortunes, and like Lucas said, Karl Živković might take over the Jets, so you never know. The power of Karl, he can do anything.
Fold
the club now if that's going to happen. Fold the club now if that's going to happen.
Josh, thank you for coming on the show. We look forward to talking to you maybe a bit later on in the year when promotion is assured and guaranteed to Zone 1 for next year.
No worries, guys. You have a lovely night.
Good on you.
Thank you, Josh. Really
Always a
appreciate
pleasure
it.
speaking to the Newcastle Croatia crew. And all jokes aside, but Ante, it is, in this day and age where things are struggling with Croatian communities, worldwide and all around Australia, I guess, as well. It's what's happening in Newcastle is such a positive thing, isn't it? And it's driven by second generation who have got now third generation Australian Croatians. But it's great to see there is that real kind of almost a renaissance in the Croatian community.
I remember talking to some people a few years ago from up in Newcastle, and they were saying, we've got no club anymore, we've got no football, the whole Zajednica or the community is, basically gone type of thing. And to see the resurrection of Newcastle Croatia, who was such, always part of the tournaments, always such, everyone used to talk about Newcastle Croatia being part of the Newcastle League, just as like South Coast are part of Illawarra, and it's just great that they're back. So everyone involved.
Yeah, and how good was it? Last week we had South Coast United, Wollongong Croatia on. This week we had Newcastle Croatia. We're going to speak to Strathmore Split a little bit later on as well. So it's always great to find out, all these little clubs that are happening as well. Adelaide Croatia week previously, Western Knights next week. So yeah, it's good. We're sort of getting around and getting to know some of these, shall we say, lesser known clubs. But that's the whole purpose of the OzCro Soccer Show, isn't it?
Fabulous people all around Australia.
Now, to all the Newcastle Croatia crew that you've jumped on to see your coach, stay on the show. Don't just now, desert the ship. We've got a great show coming. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll be watching a clip of a video analyst at work at Dinamo Zagreb. Compelling viewing, only goes for 7 minutes. And if you're involved with the club here in Australia, listen carefully, because this video analysis software package may come very, very handy for you as well. Produced by a Zagreb fella called Dalibor Cvek. Don't go away.
Secure your sporting future with Citizen HR, your ultimate safety net. Feeling the uncertainty of the world's sporting landscape? With political and economic instability, it's time for a backup plan. Consider becoming a citizen of Croatia with Citizen HR, your pathway to a second passport for sporting resilience. Take control of your sporting future and ensure your family's protection with a stable and secure country. Citizen HR offers expert guidance and support to make the sometimes confusing and overwhelming process of obtaining a second passport for sporting purposes a breeze. Mariana shares her experience. I'm so glad I applied for Croatian citizenship when I did. I'm concerned about my family's future in Australia. I can't wait for us all to move to Croatia. Citizen HR made it all a breeze. Don't wait. Secure your sporting future today. Download Citizen HR and leap into a world of sporting safety and security. So what are you waiting for? Head over to https://citizenhr.app today. Use the code AUSCRO for 50% off any biography translations you order.
My name is Martin Koller. I work as a video analyst here in GNK Dinamo. I have masters in kinesiology with the directions in football. I started to work here as a volunteer 4 years ago, and now I work with under 19 as my full-time job. We have 3 different types of analysis. It's the match, opponents, and the training. So for the match, my analysis looks like that I download the game that we've seen and I try to make an analysis as soon as possible. I try to follow the demands from the whole school. I try to follow demands for the different positions from the coach, and then by those demands I try to make small cuts or even the bigger ones. So when I show video cuts to my coach, sometimes I make the export of that video, sometimes I show him to those situations directly on my laptop. He tells me what did he want in that situation to happen, and so I can make either a drawing or I can find the similar situations in the game that demand happened in the game that coach wanted. We can make comparison with the situation that demand happened and the situation that demand didn't happen. That we have clear demands for them and exact instructions that we give them by the pitch. Of course, when we do video analysis, we try to make demands so clear that the players can adapt themselves in that situation on the pitch. We try to show them a couple of different situations with the same demand for different position, of course. To make it fully understandable to them, we try to draw things that they did or didn't do on the video. It is sometimes hard for the players to understand what do we want, but when we show and draw that to the players, they have 100% of understanding of the situation. Perhaps when the right back has the ball or the right wing, we try to make an early cross with the opposite attacking midfielder, attacking between central defender and their right back. The opposite winger is attacking the back from their right back, and the striker is attacking the space between central defenders. They need to fill their positions in the box for an early cross, especially in the situations that we find ourselves in with the low blocks. That is the most effective thing to break the low block. As much as we want to follow our demands, we need to adapt on the opponent, not in the 100%, but at least 12-30% to adapt on the opponents, because we like to see, do they play with two strikers, do they play with two attacking midfielders, do they play with two defensive midfielders, are they playing with three on the back, how they make build-up, how they make transitions, attacking transition, the defensive transitions. Especially we try to focus on the set pieces as attacking corners or defensive corners, defensive set pieces. And we try to make some variations of, let's say, build-up when they defend with two strikers. And we try to adapt ourselves to make space for our defensive midfielder to open up. He needs to have timing of opening up to make the pass on the third player. This is just one example of how we want to adapt ourselves on the opponents. One situation from the game where we attacked a lot and we couldn't score, and it was, I think, the 35th or 39th minute. That was our first or second attacking corner. We made a play with the heel pass and back pass on the penalty area that we trained on the day before, and that we made the analysis on the exact same situation that we saw that they are guarding man-to-man in the box. And if we draw them from their positions, we can make space on the penalty area. It helped us because we opened up their low block, and eventually the game ended 6-1 for us. One good fact that video analysis directly helped us to win the game. Data and video analysis are important as equal in football generally, but in youth football I think that video analysis is more important than to have some big data. For daily work it is important to show them where can they make progress. When you try to make some charts of the player, then data is necessary. When you try to present the player, let's say to the staff, to the board, you need to have data, but in general, if you don't have video of him or general feedback that they saw him on the pitch, then the data can be deceiving. It depends on the situation. So if you have the player that constantly making the same mistakes, maybe he's a little bit in bad behavior, then you try to give critic in front of the whole team. But if that situation happened once or twice, then we try to make critics more individual. We call them on the side and tell them private conversation. Because when you attack him for one thing in front of the whole group, that is not good, because once or twice it can happen to everybody. But if you immediately attack him, his self-esteem will immediately decrease. You don't want that, especially for some players that are very important for you. We try to try to implement individual analysis more in pre-season, in private conversations or in group conversations. So we call, let's say, all of our strikers, and then we show them what is our demand in this situation. And then on the pitch or on the training, we try to individually show them what they need to do in exact situation. After that training or after a couple of matches, I, as video analyst or somebody from assistant coach or the head coach, calls them and show them, okay, we showed you 4 demands, you did 2 of them, how can we improve you to make another 2 of our demands? You need to be clear in that advices for your players. That individual analysis is primarily done in pre-season for us. Of course, it is done in the season, but as the season is going to an end, we try to decrease those a lot of information, because they are tired and they don't accept those informations as good as they did in pre-season or during the season. For each position, for some individual player, we don't have more than 3, 4, maximum 5 demands per position.
Welcome back to the OzCro Soccer Show. Ante, let's cross live to Strathnaver Reseve in Melbourne's northern suburbs to speak to the man from Strathmore Split, Ante Stipik. Good evening, Ante. How are you?
Good evening, boys. How are we?
Well, we're probably a lot warmer than you are. How is it over at Strathnaver Reseve in Melbourne's north?
Lovely, mate. Lovely. Nice and fresh evening. Actually, not too bad. The weather's holding out, so half-time here.
All right, half-time in the Australia Cup match, Lang Warren versus Strathmore Split. What's the score at the moment, mate?
Look, unfortunately, we're down 3-0 at the half-time.
Oh, damn. How did we concede those goals?
Okay, look, end of the day, look, for us, it's this is just a bonus to be here. We've given a lot of opportunities to about 8 reserves players tonight. So, like I said, we're enjoying the evening. So that's all we could ask for, just put a good effort in against a VPL 1 opposition.
Second half comeback. Look, I've got it, okay? I've looked on Sportsbet. We've got good odds, so we're going to do
it. Anything's possible, eh? Anything's possible.
Yeah.
But we're all positive, yeah.
Yeah. What's the crowd like on a midweek or a Tuesday night there at Strathnaver Reseve? There's the magnificent pavilion in the background there.
Yeah. Well, the red lights there, the new heaters that have been installed, so keeping everyone nice and warm. So we've got a new pitch here as well, so it's all positive.
Yes, do tell us a bit more about that, because that's really been a bone of contention with the local council in recent years. And finally, the local council pulled the finger out and decided, yes, we're going to do something about it. How did it all come about? Because it wasn't easy getting to that point, was it?
No, not at all. Look, it's I think the whole process probably started nearly, since we arrived here at Strathnaver probably 20 years ago, and then probably the last decade and a half where things have actually increased in terms of the campaigning and the awareness to councillors about our issue, and the ground just deteriorated, and the growing of the club and the extra, I guess, foot traffic that goes on the reserve, and then trying to address the issues and just trying to get, I guess, a satisfactory surface. So it's been a long time. There's been a few roadblocks along the way and stop-starts, but it finally came fruition, and we're pretty happy now. So, so a lot of the issues of the past, of cancellations and the pitch getting flooded and bogged down, hopefully a thing of the past.
Yeah, it looks magnificent in the background there, Auntie. Tell us a bit about the league. How have the boys been going in the league so far?
Look, we had a bit of a very slow start, I'd say, but we had a victory on the last Friday night. So we're from 4 games, we've got 4 points. So we've had a couple of injuries and whatnot. So it's always it's a tough league, State 1. I think You don't realise how many good players are in the league, and it's very competitive. Some very ambitious clubs who are looking to get promoted, and so with that comes, I guess, a price with that. So, we're sticking to our guns, and we're going to give it a good crack. So I'm quite confident that we'll be able to, in the coming weeks, slowly climb up.
Well, there's the ladder, as we can see there. Unfortunately, Strathmore are on the bottom of the competition standings. But as we mentioned on the weekend, good win over the previously ladder leaders, Sydenham Park, who've got huge ambitions of moving up into the VPL structure. A Macedonian-backed club that's got quite strong resources. But Luka Nekic scored that goal for Sydenham Park. This week you travel to Croatia, and they've got a bit of a Croatian flavour there. The coach is Croatian, Bišćan, and they've got a few Croatian players there as well. Storšić, Nogla, Gudasic, I think from memory, and a few others. Usually they're the players that come from North Geelong that don't get a senior Guernsey, and then they come down to State 1. A tough game. You've played there before, obviously a Hume reserve, but Mickey Cholina, your coach, who used to coach North Geelong, knows the field very well. There isn't and by the way, for those that don't know, it's actually right within a ball's kick of the Dom, the Hrvatski Dom. What are you expecting from this game coming up this weekend?
It's going playing at Croatia Ground, never an easy. So it's if you walk away out of that place with a point, you'll take that any time. So we're expecting a tough game. They are a tough opposition. So, again, there's no easy games in the league. And like I said, we're expecting another battle at Croatia this weekend. So hopefully the boys can come away with the points. So definitely going to be a tough game.
And tell us a bit about the club itself in terms of the numbers, the healthy juniors, etc. Do you have the women's football all set up and all those sorts of things, or what's going on with the club itself?
No, we've seen an increase in the numbers this year, probably in line with a lot of other clubs. So we're probably tracking down around, I think it was about over 260 junior kids. So we've definitely got an increase, probably nearly 15-20% there. And we've got our senior guys set up, the seniors reserves. We've got a masters team as well. So we've got a mix in the juniors, and we've got a number of girls teams as well. So the club's in a very stable position.
Is there a senior women's team at the moment at Split?
Unfortunately, not this year. So we've had one in the past, but this year, due to, I guess, numerous factors, so it was decided to, not put up a team. But we do have a under 17s, 17 girls team who are very capable, very good. They're looking to participate in this year's Croatian tournament at Dinamo, and they'll form the new women's team in 2025.
Oh, excellent. That's great to hear. It's always good to hear when there's women's teams involved at clubs as well.
It looks like you've got a lot of pitches behind there. How many pitches are there?
Oh, look, we've got an oval here. We fit about 3 pitches. So you've got a main pitch, a junior pitch, and like a mini ruse. So we call it probably like a 2.5 ground setup.
Brilliant.
So, so it's nice. Like I said, it's nice and green. The pitch is only we got in on the last Wednesday evening. So we played our first game last Friday. So so far it's holding up all right. So very spongy.
And Friday night football's become a bit of a staple there at Strathnaver Reseve. Obviously, under lights provides a great atmosphere end of the week as well. What are the crowds like? Do you get some good crowds?
Yeah, no. Look, we've had a very good. We get a very good attendance here. So last Friday night, we're at Sydenham. So we get a very good attendance. Actually, we find the difference is then the Saturday you get larger numbers. 3 p.m. on a Saturday, it becomes for some people very difficult for work commitments. There's always someone's got a function or whatnot. So we tried the Friday nights and find that it just seems to be easier all around for everyone. And I think you look across the league, you see not just in our league, I guess in Victoria, Melbourne alone, everyone's looking to do a Friday night fixture.
Yeah, I think the players like it. They like the weekend off, right?
Oh, look, even the volunteers, even the volunteers. There's a lot involved to get a game up and set up. I think just come Friday in the week, you can you got the weekend free, and when you got young families as well, and my kids play on a Sunday, so you try to sometimes it's too much football, and I think it's important that we try to spend some time with our families.
Balance it down.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully the second half will be a bit of a turnaround, but regardless, it's great that 8 younger kids are also getting an opportunity to taste some senior football. We wish you, mate, all the best for Saturday's game, and for calling all those Geelong people. North Geelong are playing away this weekend, so if you're not travelling down the road, come down to Corio, Hume Reserve, watch Split do well, and then afterwards you can pop over to the Dorm for a couple of drinks as well.
Definitely.
Walking.
Thanks very much, guys.
Good luck in the second half. Let's make it extra time.
Thanks for having me. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, mate. Ante Stipich, always a legend from Strathmore Split, FC Strathmore Split. Ante, that brings us to the end of tonight's show, and gosh, it was a jam-packed show. At one stage, I think mid-afternoon, we thought we were scratching around thinking, what are we going to have for content? But we've had a great show, and thank you everyone for joining us, especially if anyone has been a first-time viewer tonight, and I'm sure there were quite a few.
Yeah, absolutely. And the video analysis thing was fascinating as well. I mean, hopefully they've got the video analysis right for the game against Vieca on the weekend, because that'll be a huge one.
Yeah.
And one of my boys has actually got something a little bit to do with the Swans this year, and I went down to their training. Their video analysis and data analysis at every single training session. The training session is just amazing. It's just, and they've got so many different camera angles. It is just, mate, when you got resources, and there were 2 Croatian girls actually doing the analysis. Which is
how good is that? I know we need to wind up, but that really brings me to the next point, that more and more opportunities for young people today to get into soccer as an industry. Not necessarily if you can't make it as a player, you can't make it as a coach. There are other ways, and and I know down here in Victoria we've got 2 fantastic teachers, Josip Lončarić and Joey Didlica, who are involved in 2 schools that offer a very strong soccer program, football program, and video analysis and things like that, sports science, all of those kind of things are now becoming even more. And look, we're part of the media network. I guess it's such a small industry at the moment, but it can grow. And a good friend of ours, David Davutovic, just recently went back to England to do a series of interviews and things like that. So look, there are many, many ways that people can get involved, and and it's great to see there's a real Australian Croatian connection with a lot of those. So on that positive note, we're going to leave you all, folks. Ante, have a great week. We'll look forward to catching up with you next Tuesday. And until then, good night and luck and launch.
Luck and launch. Hvala.